And, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to the after show. I put on my announcer voice, but really this is just like a chill hangout. Dennis and I are just hanging out here, chatting with all of you. So let me tweet this out and let people know about it. And I'm super excited to have everyone here.
Yep, we're just doing this, guys, to give you a chance to kind of interact with us a little bit, and that way we can just have a more chill, unscripted conversation, essentially.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I also did want to mention, talk about the S21, some upcoming videos and projects I'm working on, as well as try and get feedback from you all, because I think now's a great time to do that. So I'm tweeting this out.
There's the man, the myth, the legend, D-Bop. No, I am not kidding.
Yeah, it's super exciting to have Dennis on the show. So,
and you finally get to see my face early.
Geez, Dennis, you actually look better in the image than I do. I'm like creepily staring into the camera for this thumbnail. It's all good. But yeah, so D-Bop. Wait, I'm saying that wrong. D-Bop Pop. D-Boo Pop? Hypercyanic. I can say that right.
No, Hyper Saiyan.
Oh, geez. I can't even say that right. Either way, thank you for joining. Yeah, you know, we love interacting with the audience, and so we've been doing that. Max Tech Studios, thank you for joining us. But yeah, so this is it. This is the after show. Yeah, S21, it's here. Dennis, I know you're kind of, I feel like you're more of a Galaxy enthusiast, right?
I am, but I'm anti S21.
Yeah, so you want to talk about like what makes you as anti S21? Like what do you like about it? And then what do you dislike about it? As I show off all these smears and fingerprints.
Well, what I like about it is that it is the first phone to have, or the first phone to have the flagship Snapdragon 888 inside of it with its integrated 5G modem, which that's super cool, super exciting. Love that. I do love that they're now incorporating an adaptive refresh rate screen for better battery life efficiency. That's pretty cool. But that's about the extent of my love. After that, it's all cons. So that screen that I talked about, I hate that it's only a 1080p panel for a flagship phone. I hate that there's no setting that I can make it a static.
Whoa. Sorry, I just wanted. So you have the S20?
Yes, I have the S20 Plus 5G.
Just what do you what's your resolution right now? What are you running at? I'm just curious. I'm just asking a question.
1080p, 120 hertz.
There you go. That's all. That's all. But I do agree that it's disappointing Samsung chose to limit that option on the S20 and S21 and S21 Plus, and really saved it for the S21 Ultra. But that was my mild intermission where, in my opinion, after using it, like I think it's fine. But yeah, please continue. I didn't mean to interrupt your rant.
All good. So yeah, I mean, to be clear, 1080p is fine, but having the option to be 1440p when you're trying to enjoy cinematic content is also nice to have in the settings. But anyway, off of that. So mad about that. Mad about the removable expandable storage. That's actually something that was kind of like a quintessential like Android experience. You have no idea how nice it is, Stetson, to be able to take my SD card out of my phone and plug it into that MacBook behind me to like edit photos or something like that. Like I remember doing that.
You can do that?
Yeah, I remember doing that all the time. Yeah, I remember doing that all the time when I was doing my I was taking a photography course for like a elective in college. And we had like these really nice like DSLR cameras that we did, but I'm not gonna lie, for some of my projects, I actually just used my phone. I did like the Pro Cinema phone where like you could like control it, and I just simply took out my SD card and edited it on the school's computers, and they turned out phenomenal. That's something I'm never gonna be able to do as easily. Like I know you can plug it in with USB and do that, but like, look, I like expandable storage. It's cheaper than spending another $100 for the next step up, and it gives longevity to the phone. It also makes it easy to transfer stuff over when you switch phones as often as I do.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Actually, that's probably one of the biggest. I don't use it, but that to me as a non-user, that's even one of the biggest disappointing things. Like all those features you described, if I had known that, I probably would have picked up an SD card. I've been using Google Photos, so I have a business account. I get unlimited Google photo storage. And so it's easy to just like throw up full res uncompressed into that. But
Okay, so they don't compress it for the business users. You actually get the full.
well,
raw.
I'm just choosing like count the storage against my. I'm doing full quality, and because I have unlimited, it's just like it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I gotcha. My last thing, and we talked about this during the podcast, but the Snapdragon 888 is actually not the chipset I was thinking it was going to be.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're a little bit let down by that.
Yeah. So basically, for those that didn't catch the podcast, it's been discovered that the Snapdragon 888 actually has some heating issues. What happened was with these new high-end chipsets from like the ARM design, there's like one really powerful core. But this one really powerful core consumes much more power than like in years past. And so what happens is it gets really, really hot in this compressed space. And what ends up happening is the phone will end up self-throttling itself to keep temperatures in control. And so it actually ends up with reduced performance when doing things that are like long. Think like gaming, or think like you talked about 8K recording, stuff like that. So that's like my big things. And overall, the phone itself isn't really that big of a change. Like the camera array you talked about in your unboxing is the same as the S20 Plus, really, essentially.
It's just a different design. That's all.
Just a different design. It actually has less RAM, which not the end of the world.
Can you talk about that? What happened there? It was on the baseline, the entry level. You could get 12 gigs or something. They removed that option, I think.
Yeah. So on the S20 Plus, you got 12 gigs.
Let me slap you into the widescreen.
Sure. So on the S20 Plus, it came with 12 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. That was like the norm for the S20 Plus. For the S21 Plus, it's 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. I mean, how much multitasking are we really doing?
Yeah,
on our
but
phone?
like to make a phone worse generation over generation, that's so disappointing, in my opinion.
That's basically my gist of it. Basically, it's everything about the new S21 is either like a side grade, like it's not like an upgrade, it's just kind of like the same, or downgrades in certain areas. And for me, the downgrades in the removal of the micro SD card makes it so I wouldn't want to buy it, because the only viable option out of that whole lineup would be the Ultra, but I would be having to drop like $1,400 for a now finding out for a Snapdragon 888, which isn't necessarily better. Like the only improvement is the modem, but and you were telling me you were seeing slightly faster speed test results?
I've been looking down a lot because I'm actually trying to run some tests right now and get some results for everyone. But I have to swap the SIM card between the phones. That's why. What are your thoughts on some of the chat comments? Let me pull one up. So, Airy Block, thank you for joining us for the live stream. 1080p panels have better battery life than 1440p panels running at 1080p. I think, it's a valid point. I think it's just disappointing for Samsung enthusiasts is really the issue here. So,
and to be honest, that statement's sort of half true. I mean, back in the day when like Snapdragon processors were weaker and it took more graphical performance to do so, yeah, that's true. But generally speaking, most chipsets have efficiency cores in place. Same thing with the GPU. So the battery difference is very nominal. It might be 30 minutes of battery lifetime over the course of your day. Like, it's nothing crazy.
All right, how about this one, Dennis? Eduardo Malav. Forgive me if I mispronounced that. It just didn't sound right coming out of my mouth. But Eduardo, thank you so much for the comment. I think the S20 Fan Edition is a better buy than the S21/S21 Plus. That's in Dennis. Dennis, thoughts on this?
100% agree. I think yes.
I respect it. I almost want to take the position that a gently used S20 is the better buy here, where you get the slightly more premium build and materials of the S20, but at a reasonable price. I think they're going for around $550-ish on Swappa. Dennis is checking that. But yeah, I mean, the Fan Edition, you can't really go wrong. It's just I'm kind of like, I'd almost rather get the S20.
Well, I mean, the Fan Edition brand new from B&H, your favorite store, is going for $570. So
okay, yep, can't argue with that.
That's brand new, and honestly, the Fan Edition is basically the same as the S21. Like it's essentially the same. And yeah, I mean, yeah, the Fan Edition is a great phone. It's like the low end of flagship devices. It's got all the things that matter. Honestly, though, if we were talking about this price territory, this like 570 range, I would actually start looking more at like Pixel or OnePlus.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think the overall package you get with Pixel is so nice. The software especially, and that's what makes it for me.
Stock Android, actual eSIM support.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on eSIM. I was livid. I mean, I was super nice to the representative because obviously the rep I'm talking to has like absolutely nothing to do with it. But I'm just like, Samsung, you say eSIM is going to be here and it's not. Like, what are you doing? You're crazy. And as someone who tests out cell phone plans, like that is the most exciting and most important feature for me personally. So, yeah, Eduardo again, liking the S20 FE. So it's a great phone. It's a great phone at a pretty good value too.
And to answer Austin's question real quick for what carriers I use.
Wait, where is that? Oh, sorry.
One. So Austin, I use AT&T for my iPhone. I don't. Oh, let me.
It's completely blown out. Yeah, the screen turned off.
AT&T.
Yeah, the top that blurred.
Yeah, I use AT&T on my iPhone 12 Pro Max. I'm on my parents' family plan. My dad got like a discount with them and different things.
Yeah, you're in a legacy plan though. Do you know like what it was?
No. I upgraded to their Elite. Remember?
Oh yeah, so you guys are on Elite.
Yeah, remember I had that whole journey about like the 3-month fiasco with my billing with AT&T and that nightmare. But yeah, I'm on the AT&T Unlimited Elite plan. I freaking love this plan. It's literally the best premium unlimited plan out there. Great plan.
Yeah.
For AT&T. Although ironically enough, I don't use this phone that much just because most of my business goes through my T-Mobile line, which is on the Galaxy S20, and I have the old Oneplus plan where I have the uncapped video streaming, which is nice. My T-Mobile coverage in my market actually isn't that good, so it's kind of ironic that I use this number more.
Yeah, so what's the deal with that? Is it just because you prefer the S20 device more as opposed to network performance? Because you just said AT&T, you have the best premium plan in wireless, but you're choosing to more often use the T-Mobile plan. What's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, right? I mean, AT&T hands down, a smart man would be using that. I mean, it's significantly better in my market. I think it's just a matter of I prefer Android over iPhone, to be honest. That's one factor. And since I like using this phone more, I use this. Two is that everyone that matters in my work life has my T-Mobile phone number. So when I get a text, it's going to that phone. Now, I know that I can use digits on the iPhone, but it's just not as good of an experience. And also, one of the things I commonly do, since I'm always at home, is Samsung lets you pair your phone up with like a Windows computer, which I'm currently talking on. So Stetson, like when I text you, when I'm at the home, I can literally just text off my keyboard, which is beautiful.
Oh, that's insane. That's so nice.
Which I love. And I mean, I know you can do that with iMessage if you have like a MacBook, I believe.
Yeah.
But
you're just not in that world.
Yeah, I'm
so
not in that
you flipped. Because you're so far like Android Windows, the experience is actually better for you because you get the texting on the computer experience, whereas I'm iPhone and Mac, and so I get the texting on the computer experience. So it's like you're getting pulled towards Android because you can text on your computer with Windows, and I'm getting pulled towards iPhone because I can text on my computer with Mac.
Plus, I got the Sony Android TV, and I got Alexa and a Google free voice thing I got from having YouTube TV. They gave me like a Google voice assistant speaker. So,
all right, Austin, kind of calling you out here, Dennis. Interesting thought, and maybe this just comes down to you prefer the S20, and you gave out that number so much that now you just get all the interactions on the S20. But Austin suggesting, can you just switch SIMs?
So you could, but the reason I have it set up the way that I do is as follows. T-Mobile is, for me personally, a network that's more geared towards Android users. Because like I've talked about this before, but certain bands are congested, so it's nice that Samsung lets me force a connection to N41 when it's available versus opting for like N71, right? So that's a really important piece of functionality. Whereas AT&T seems to really prefer iPhones. They get really weird with like unlocked Android phones with like voice over LTE support and Wi-Fi calling and different things like that. So it kind of just went this way because it used to be the opposite. I used to have when I first got T-Mobile, I was using an iPhone 6 with them, and I had a Nexus 6P on AT&T, but it was terrible experience on both sides for the reason I just aforementioned. So it flipped, and as such, my usage kind of flipped with it. So The only reason I have the iPhone is just because there are certain people that refuse to talk to me if I have the green bubble. So.
Dude, I remember I was in college and I got so fed up with the bugs in iOS that I switched from an iPhone 6S to a Google Pixel. I just, went straight Pixel, and I got kicked from some group chats because it went green bubble instead of blue bubble. And I was like, all right, I get it. The iMessage chat is like Facebook Messenger. It's so much better in terms of fluidity, responsiveness. You get the red receipts. So I totally get it, but it was definitely a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, for the people in my personal life that really, really matter, I can kind of convince them to use something different. Like I think I told you, I text my girlfriend on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, it's usually not a big deal, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's just like with work, they get weird sometimes. Like I know that for some verification things, sometimes I end up needing to use my iPhone because T-Mobile's scam protection or whatever will like block like the incoming phone call sometimes. Do you know what I'm talking?
Yeah, I got you.
So I mean, honestly, basically my life was fractured. I ended up with two phones, and now I actually have use cases for both because I can't afford to not have reliability. I can't tell you the amount of times that T-Mobile's coverage goes out for me. AT&T, I haven't had that experience. Although it's funny because I still love T-Mobile. Like I told you before, their customer service experience has been the best of the best. And this plan is something that I'm grandfathered into. It's probably the best plan out there. So I can't cancel it, or else I'll lose it forever. So,
yeah. So next question from Max. What plans and carriers are you testing right now? Yeah, great question. So probably too many is the answer. So from my T-Mobile speed test video, I still have Metro by T-Mobile active, T-Mobile prepaid active. I think that's it. Okay, just those two. And then I also am signed up for 3 different plans on Red Pocket right now. So yeah, that's kind of what's next in line. Red Pocket, Metro by T-Mobile, T-Mobile prepaid. I'll probably throw up a poll on Patreon actually to see which plan people want me to review first. Both of them expire pretty soon, so I'm trying to get the shots I need and then kind of craft that script so I can either transfer the numbers or just kill the plan. But that's what's next.
The Jaminji asks, what do we know about 5G access with Visible Wireless? Just got the Galaxy S21 Ultra yesterday. Stetson, I feel like you've tested the network.
I'm on it. I've actually tested Visible. So Visible, you're getting full access to Verizon's nationwide 5G. This is their low-band 5G using DSS. It is super medium at best. In fact, you should actually probably switch to LTE if you're in a specific nationwide 5G market. If you get millimeter wave, I've tested it. Visible works. You actually get capped at 200 megabits per second. But that's still plenty fast for anything you could possibly be doing. So overall, it's surprisingly great considering the affordable price point of Visible.
And one caveat I just want to add, Visible does not include any of Verizon's roaming coverage. So just throwing that out there. And I also believe Visible's coverage is only on the LT network and better. You don't get access to like 3G or the 1X, I believe.
Yeah. All right. So kind of talking about that. So 3 things are going to happen. Austin, question about better, worse reception T-Mobile 5G from S21 to iPhone 12. Haven't tested that yet. Why have I not tested that yet? I've been doing Verizon speed test comparisons. I figured I'd just throw that in. That was one of the SIM cards I had lying around. So let's start off with just so you can see the S20, what I'm getting here. Looks like one of them, that's hilarious. So 5G, it looks like the top results here are kind of showing 40 down, 10 up, 52. The 79 one was actually over LTE. Looks it was better. And then 29, 50. So like I would say about 30 to 50 on the S20. And then I did the same tests during the live stream while we were all talking here, S21, and it consistently got, it looks like basically 50 and up. So it looks like consistency is better on the S21. And besides that one LTE fluke, I would say the speeds averaged faster on the S21.
That was for Verizon, or was that?
Yeah, that was Verizon 5G, except for the one LTE speed test that snuck in there.
So here is, come on.
Yeah.
Here's an AT&T speed test.
So I'm gonna full screen that so the audience can see.
Yeah, this is on the 12 Pro Max.
Yeah.
And mind you, I just want to say my apartment, I'm on like the bottom floor. I have really bad reception. If I stepped outside, because of the upgrades, I would probably see about 250 if I just stepped outside. But that's AT&T. And then I did just run a T-Mobile speed test, which I told you before the upgrades have been happening in my area, I was getting like less than 10 meg. But big gains and props to T-Mobile. I don't know if you could see that, but that's a totally usable speed. 35.9 by 4.36. Not as good as AT&T like I had aforementioned, but they are getting better. I'm proud of you, T-Mobile. And that's just thanks to the extra addition of N71. I'm not joking. If I disconnected from N71, I'd be less than 10 meg. I'm not joking. So thank you, T-Mobile, for getting better.
Yeah, they've made some huge network improvements. So,
but still nothing compared to my Wi-Fi.
It's true. All right, I'm actually trying to figure out how to. I'll see if we can do that later. I was trying to see if I can get LTE only, but I'm not seeing that option yet.
Yeah, those were both on 5G. I don't know if you saw the indicator, but those were both from 5G from the
Yeah, I
respective
saw
two.
that. Do you know where you typically see that?
Are you talking about on the S21?
Yeah.
Go to settings and then go to connections.
Yeah.
And then under connections, go to mobile networks.
Okay.
And then you should see network mode. It'll say 5G LTE / like whatever auto connect. Just click the one that says LTE 3G auto connect only.
I'm actually not seeing that.
You don't see like you don't see a drop down like that.
Yeah, I saw that on the S20. So I'm in
network mode. Yeah, click on that. What does that say? Automatic.
Yeah, it says automatic, but it's just so if I go
do
manual.
Okay,
check this out. So I just did manual, and it's just giving me the option for these.
Well, then here, alternative idea. I won't make you do short codes, but why don't you download the Samsung band selection app?
I got you. I'll do that. All right, let's jump back into the chat, see what's going
on. Let's see. Are either of you? Oh, you skipped.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to follow up here.
Oh.
So it is compatible. Well, it should be compatible. Visible may need to release their carrier. I'm actually signed up, dude. I will update. I'll throw the Visible SIM in, and I'll see if it works, and I'll tweet it out. That's what I'm gonna do. And then,
darn man, skipping over Austin.
Yeah, sorry. I was just like bouncing between. I haven't done enough testing, I feel, to feel confident in an answer here, but I'm gonna say that from my limited testing, it did appear that the X60 was having slightly faster speeds, based on the averages. All right, now let's bump back to Austin's.
So he asks, are either of us using home internet product from the big three? And I assume he means AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile. I know the answer for you is no, because you got that beautiful municipal fiber.
Yeah, dude, oh my God.
And then for me, right now in my apartment complex has a contract with Comcast, so they're basically the only, literally the only option you get in the apartment. So I don't have it from any of the big three currently. I've had mixed feelings about Comcast over the years, but I told Stetson I've been pretty happy with my service, just not necessarily the pricing. But with my new home, I will tell you I plan to switch immediately to Fios as soon as my house gets done being built, because I want some sweet symmetrical gigabit internet, and that's my game plan. Although Stetson, I don't know if we talked about this. Did you have plans to test out T-Mobile's home internet in your market?
Yeah, so that's definitely on my list. But what's happening right now is I just have a backlog of videos that I really need to prioritize. So that's what's up. I mean, I'm in a market. I just canceled my T-Mobile service, so I'm saving money on that. And I'll probably re-sign up with home internet. Maybe in I feel like that could end up being a March kind of task.
Yeah, I was going to say, keep up with the support, guys. We do appreciate your guys' support on the Patreon is what's making it possible for us to do those kind of things. And maybe I'll look into seeing if I can get the T-Mobile home internet too to test it in my market, just so we have a multi-market comparison.
Something like that.
If I do test it, one of the things I'll make sure to do, because I know a lot of you guys out there game like myself, I'll be sure to do testing with gaming specifically in mind, because I'd be curious to see. I don't think most people that I've seen on YouTube that have been testing it haven't really did specific gaming tests in mind. So
yeah, I feel like people run speed tests, but what's almost more helpful is using it as a daily driver, and then sharing what the experience is with that, and sometimes you just got to use it and then talk about it.
Yeah, like the things I want to see, and I haven't seen them answered yet, is I would want to see what happens if I go past 1 TB of data usage, because I'd love to see what T-Mobile's reaction would be to something like that, because that's something I regularly do. What does gaming look like? What does real world streaming look like Netflix, right? Is it gonna auto load up 4K HDR, or is it gonna like auto set itself to something like lower resolution on my TV? I'd also be curious to get into some of like the different gateway settings. I was watching a guy, and it seems like it's fairly limited, which for most people might not matter, but for gamers, right? One of the things that's important is having an open NAT type, and I don't think there's a lot of port forwarding options or anything in the T-Mobile equipment. So that's definitely stuff I would need to get my hands on, and there's stuff that me and Stetson always talk about behind the scenes to see if that's going to be a viable thing. But don't worry, guys. We'll be doing plenty of testing with those things. And Austin, I just saw you came in huge with a super chat, so thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
He asks us if we could only pick one carrier for an entire year, either MNO or NVNO, who would it be and why? Stetson, I'll let you go first since I've been talking for a while.
All right, this is such a tough question for me because, I sign up and test plans for my business. If I was like strictly limited to one carrier, I would probably want to get one that, would work for the content I produce. Yeah, I almost feel like it's a cop-out, but Mint Mobile has just been like, I use them personally, and I actually committed to a year when I signed up. Like, I signed up for the year plan. So that's, in terms of the value, specifically value I'm getting for the service, the amount of data I'm getting for the service, it meets my personal needs at one of the most affordable price points out there. So that's typically what I would go for. The only other one I would consider is US Mobile, and I think they're doing epic things with their account dashboard and their usage statistics, and I believe they might have added millimeter wave, unconfirmed, they might have added millimeter wave support on the Verizon network, so I need to test that out. But those are probably my two.
And for me, I'm going to add a caveat. It depends. If we're talking about my existing plans still being in play, then I would just keep T-Mobile since that's a grandfather thing. But I'm going to assume you meant like current plans today being offered. If we're talking about like what I would pick with current plans being offered today, I'd probably pick the AT&T Unlimited Elite plan.
Yeah, it's so good.
I was going to say I would just have to suffer with getting like a carrier branded AT&T phone so I could get all the functionality, which is going to be the thing that sucks. I really despise all the bloatware. But AT&T's network is just so darn. You saw it in the speed test result. It was literally like 5x better. AT&T's network is just bar none the best in my market. And at the end of the day, that's kind of one of the things that's pretty important, right? Having reliable coverage first and foremost. And that would be the one I would rely on. The 100 gigs of priority data is awesome, even though I'm not using that much because I'm on Wi-Fi most of the time anymore.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, as a cell phone enthusiast, I would almost want to get a more premium plan. But the truth is, for my needs, like, I'm just all about saving money. And I kind of said that in my most recent video. Like, I'm about helping people save money, and so I want to save money for myself.
But I was gonna say the free HBO Max is nice for me because I watch a lot of that, and AT&T. Like, T-Mobile doesn't give you the free Netflix, right, unless you have multiple lines, which I don't have. So,
well, if you do the math on like the taxes, fees, and including those in the service, T-Mobile, I would almost do T-Mobile plus whatever streaming service you want.
I know, but T-Mobile's network's also inferior. Like, part of my reason I'm so loyal to them.
That's actually true.
Part of the reason I'm so loyal to them is just because the price is right. But when we're talking about how close it would be, and we're not factoring in my discount that I would get from AT&T, it's pretty comparable as far as postpaid pricing is concerned. But I would still probably stick to a postpaid carrier. I value the priority data. I value the feature set. The roaming agreements are important to me because there's parts of central Pennsylvania that I sometimes have to visit, and I know that those areas are covered by roaming agreements that oftentimes MVNO and prepaid carriers don't have access to. So if I had to pick one, AT&T postpaid elite plan would be what I would pick.
Yeah, I agree with that. And we also have David Hall coming in clutch saying Tesla last week and no millimeter wave unless things recently changed on US Mobile. So let me just bring up my screen real quick. So let's share screen. Let's select the correct screen and let's add that in here. So this is the US Mobile website. I'll zoom in. Oops, I just zoomed in on the live stream page. zoom in. We have our free sim pop up. That's borderline annoying with the amount of times I go on US Mobile's website getting that all the time. The reason I say it might be is because of this. 5G is available on all plans. Okay. And I don't know if this just means like they added in Verizon DSS 5G and are calling it a day and are kind of like sweeping it under the rug or something like that. But yeah, I'm not sure. It seems like they should have support, and this page appears like the language on this page would make me think
2 gig. If you scroll up, they show 2 gigabit per second.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're advertising millimeter wave, and they're high frequency waves, right? But I'm just unsure. This page makes it sound like it's available on all plans, and the early access is sold out. So I'm not sure if they had to like casually roll back on this or what exactly happened, but I'll be testing it out. I'm going into, I got the S21. What I want to do is like a proper 5G speed test, go in, get the millimeter wave, compare Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, things like that. And one of the things I will be doing is testing out if US Mobile has millimeter wave 5G. So yeah, David, I saw DSS support, but again, I'm not sure. I'm not in a millimeter wave market. I have to drive in. And I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet. So I'll test it on my end. But from what you're saying, you're likely right. And it just kind of makes me wonder what the story is behind this. Because it sounded like new plans were coming, and now they're maybe not. Slightly
off topic, Stetson, but does it surprise you where Verizon's decided to deploy their millimeter wave networks at? Because I find it really peculiar. Like, I would have thought like one of the first places to get millimeter wave would have been like the Carnegie Mellon Institute College down in like Pittsburgh, right? That's literally a school known for its engineering and science programs, and yet it has some of the worst coverage from Verizon. And it's kind of interesting to me because that's going to be where all your big geeky nerds are. So is it surprising that they're deploying it in like Sneed's Market out in like Ohio or down in your city, like where they're deciding to roll it out?
I'm not super surprised. Maybe that particular instance, you definitely kind of scratch your head. But I think they have been focusing a lot on stadiums and airports. I think airports is actually huge for me. I think that's actually going to provide the better experience. And a lot of cities. So like in my area, it makes a lot of sense with what they're doing. They're focusing on Denver. It's a more congested market. There's way more people there. And honestly, they're getting to the point where I can be walking down kind of random streets and just be like, oh, I actually got millimeter wave here. This is amazing. And you can see the towers up on the street. So I don't know. From my use case, I think it makes sense to me, but it sounds like you would almost prefer they prioritize some different markets in some different areas.
I mean, airports are good. Stadiums, I understand.
It would have been good like 2 years ago, right?
But like,
and now it's just like.
But I'm just thinking about like, so airports, that makes sense. There's constant traffic. Like, I get the airports, stadiums, and like event centers. Like, I get the reason behind it, but those are kind of like one-off situations. Like, how often is there a football game? And then like that's a limited portion of like the year that's going on.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And then also, I feel like the people there should be watching the game, right? Like.
You would think that, but then you look at Snapchat's little heat map and you see all the posts going on. But my thing is just that I feel like colleges would be easy to deploy in because colleges typically have their own fiber being ran between the different lab buildings. Like I told you about how at Penn State main campus in our engineering laboratory, we actually had a 10 gigabit lab where we had like 10 gigabit internet for stuff. Yeah, so the fiber amazing. And everything that's going to be needed there is already there. And as far as putting up equipment is concerned on the campus, that's also easy. Like Penn State actually has access points built into the light post. Like I can see where Wi-Fi is all throughout the campus. And I guess I'm fighting against myself saying because there's already Wi-Fi there for the students, but I feel like it'd be equally easy for Verizon to deploy 5G because I can't tell you about. Well, first off, Penn State has a massive football stadium, right? Yeah. So there's your reason right there for 5G. Also, there's a not an apartment. What do you call it? A hotel on campus called Nittany Lion Hotel or whatever. And there's constantly business meetings and job career fairs and all kinds of stuff where like companies come over. And that's prime time ability to show off your 5G network and really like start popping because I remember in my time on Penn State campus, going back to this again, AT&T was the strongest with speeds, followed by T-Mobile, actually. T-Mobile had so much spectrum deployed all across the Penn State campus. And Verizon, again, was well, no, I don't want to say terrible because that's mean, but they were the worst in comparison. I mean, even Sprint, even Sprint in certain college campuses does better than Verizon.
Yeah, Sprint was surprising to me, actually. I remember testing them in Boston, and I actually got faster speeds on Sprint's network than some of the other networks. I think likely due to congestion and because of the frequencies they had deployed there. It was just excellent. So,
but yeah, I mean, I just feel like Verizon is kind of missing an opportunity because like it's a very densely packed thing, high traffic, and a lot more value could be done. Neighborhoods are getting millimeter wave to use for home internet.
I think that's probably number 2 actually in my mind, because I think some of the Wi-Fi is just bad, right? And if you get millimeter wave there, boom, people get access to an incredible solution for home internet.
And I just want to circle back. Did you see can you click on Dbobop or Hyperstain real quick? He asked us he asked us what our pet peeves are. I feel like it's a fun question.
I'm not even sure.
You don't have any pet peeves, Stetson? Like, don't wear your shoes in the house, or you don't have nothing?
Here's one. I love it when dishes are, instead of being left in the sink, put directly into the dishwasher, right? Like, all right, you took the 3 seconds to turn the faucet on and put the water in the dish. You couldn't take the extra 3 seconds to dump said water out and just pop it in the dishwasher and call it a day. So that's what I love, is one of the dishwashers locked and loaded.
I have a pet peeve. I don't like it when people touch my stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
especially screens. Like when people who are like look at this thing right, and they like boom, fingerprint on the display. No.
Yeah, like whenever people ask like to like hold something, like I get like a little bit of an anxiety attack as I hand them my phone or whatever it is they need to use. Yeah. And I'm just very weird about like I just don't like I'm good about sharing, but I'm weird. Like as I got older, I don't like doing it. I feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah. I have another one, kind of related to screen protectors, and it's those people who have the cracked, broken, beat up, disgusting screen protectors and refuse to take them off. Like, what are you doing? Like, why do people even have screen protectors? It's either to preserve the value of their device or to protect it. And I don't know. I think you should just spend the $9 extra and get a new one and slap it on there. You know what I mean? Like I would be driven insane.
I got a really good one. I sometimes I have people over and they'll sit in my chair and they'll adjust it. Oh. I hate that because it never feels the same again.
It's like I had that calibrated.
I had that broken in and you messed with it.
Dialed in.
Yo, D-Bob, great question. That was a good laugh. Moving on from that, Naruto pick with Omar _490. He said that,
is it this one? This one?
I was going to talk about the one that you originally clicked on. The United States taxpayers paid over $400 billion to get fiber nationwide, like when the government forced companies to add electricity to rural areas. I wanted to touch on that real quick.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
So, Omar, a lot of the fiber that's been laid over the years, we did pay for, but a lot of it's being unused. It's what's called dark fiber. So it's been laid, but it's not being utilized by anybody currently. So, and a lot of that fiber that was deployed isn't necessarily in the areas that matter, right? Like for millimeter wave to work, Verizon needs to put it on like every other block, typically on like a light post or something like that. So while the main like backbone infrastructure might be there in like a city, there's still a lot that needs to go to happen to actually get the connection as far as permitting, underground runs to get it across streets, different things that need to go down. But I don't know why I touched on that. I'm sorry, Stetson.
No. It's, I mean, I think the point is that, yes, I definitely feel that some of the taxpayer money was not utilized in the appropriate manner. And we should prioritize, I feel like, as a country, getting high-speed internet available to all members of our society. I really feel like that does make a difference.
Well,
but yeah.
What do you think about Starlink?
I think that is the greatest thing since sliced bread. That is the jam. That is like the peanut butter and jelly sandwich of internet. That's going to be like the go-to. I'm hyped for it. I know some astronomers are appalled at the thought of all of these satellites oh damn it, there's another one, vroom, 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 like as they're looking through their telescope. But from a technology perspective, this is the solution. Boom, you're getting high-speed internet in the internet, like in the ocean, in the middle of wherever you are, connected to the internet. Well, I guess you need some sort of modem, right? Or like you need that technology, but you can get it anywhere and install it anywhere. That's the exciting thing to me.
Well, I don't know if you saw, but like Elon Musk has been basically having like a CEO battle with Jeff Bezos as he talks about launching his own competitive satellite internet service. So lots of cool stuff's been happening there, and there's been some improvements. I've been following a lot of different channels that have been using Starlink, and the speeds have been decent. Like between 50 and 100 meg on the download, about between 5 and 25 megabit on the upload.
That's perfect.
Totally usable.
Literally what we said our minimum threshold was for broadband internet. And
yeah.
I think the latency could be an issue, but for most people's daily like work-related tasks,
it's better than 0.
Boom. There you go.
I was going to say, dude, it's so insane to me that we live in the country that literally invented the internet, and yet literally millions, almost a third of us don't have access to broadband. And then even of the other 2/3, most of us only have opportunity to get internet through one provider, and a very, 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 very small subset might actually have 2, and they're not even good options. Like I might have Comcast and Verizon DSL here, but let's be real here. That 0.5 megabit per second internet connection ain't gonna do nothing for me, right?
Yep.
But ultimately, fiber to the home should be the goal for everyone, or at the very least. I know we bad talk, but having a cable company connection ain't bad. You know, like
yeah, the latency is better. Like it's just reliable. It works.
Yeah, I mean, my ping. You've seen my ping times between 10 and then like 11 milliseconds. I'm constantly getting above my rated speed. You know, on my I told you I downgraded to 300. I'm getting like 360 down.
Perfect.
11 up. It's the upload that's really the killer. But even then, as we've seen by this video call and by our conversation on the podcast, it hasn't seemed to have made a big difference. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was trying to find a message. Someone was asking how to get US Mobile's plans because we've been talking about them. And what you do is you just go on the site and you order a SIM starter kit. And once you have the kit, you'll walk through the activation process, and that's when you select your plan. So you get the kit first, and then you select your plan. Different carriers do it differently. This is kind of a spontaneous question, but Dennis, what do you think the better approach is? Like sell the SIM card bundled with the service, or sell a SIM card and then you choose the plan when you activate? I kind of take the position that from my perspective, the SIM card and then choosing the service is better for me. But I think
better. Yeah, I mean that's better for you, the consumer, and that'd be the easy option. But for the company, it makes more sense for you to buy the plan first and just.
I mean, I almost feel like people want to buy the plan. Like they see the plan, they just want to buy it. So I think actually what Mint Mobile's doing, where they sell the SIM card preloaded with the service, I think that's actually typically better for most people.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think the best goal would be getting away from the SIM card and just going all eSIM everything.
Oh my God, that's a dream. Yeah, I actually just activated Visible on eSIM. Oh man, wait, slight tangent. So I set my, I'm filming. I get my camera set up. I'm rolling. Lights are on. Camera's rolling. Activating eSIM. I go through the workflow, entering my address. Error message. Okay, well that was weird. Let me go back. Let me fix that. Error message. Okay, all right. Well, error. Okay, I'm doing something wrong here. So I quit the app, logged out, logged back in. Error. Okay, deleted the app, reinstalled it. Error. Chat with Visible support. I get connected. Support reps. Let me check the coverage in your area. What are you talking about? I'm trying to get activated. You're like, let's check the coverage map. Are you? And the guy's like, yeah, the system, it's being slow. Thanks for your patience. Like
300 IQ right there.
What is happening? So, what ended up happening is after wasting, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes with this rep who was checking my coverage. Okay, Verizon is some of the best coverage in the United States. That is not at all related to an eSIM activation issue. But what happened is I had to get another rep to go in, cancel the order, and then start the order again. But I got Visible activated on eSIM. And I know Dennis, I was like, Dennis, I'm going to do this for you and your friend. I'm a little bit late in terms of when you needed this information, but I have the footage captured, and I'll be making a video on how to walk through that for anyone else who is interested, just because I want you to know how to do it.
Well, I'm pretty sure my friend just threw away the SIM card and called it a day, but that's good for the rest of the audience. Real quick, by the way, our Edgardo, Malave posted a great question. He asked, "Is Boost Mobile's $10 plan the best plan for just talk and text only, BYOD only, and I believe it uses T-Mobile? Your thoughts?"
Yeah, I'm just thinking right now.
My answer is no, personally, but
Yeah, I mean, it might be if it gets HD voice. Because I was gonna say US Mobile has $10 talk and text on Verizon, and that's pretty great.
that's really good. I mean, I know a moment ago we were kind of talking about Verizon having some congested networks for data speeds, but if data's not in the equation,
Yeah,
to me, US Mobile's deal's better because Verizon has overall better coverage, and HD voice is baked in. Like every carrier has HD voice at this point. For me, best one goes over to US Mobile personally.
yeah,
That's
I was thinking Wi-Fi calling. US Mobile does not support Wi-Fi calling on Verizon. They added it for T-Mobile, and all plans have to support voice over LTE because there's like that's what needs to be supported now. So it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
Is Boost Mobile T-Mobile? Boost Mobile is
no, it's Dish actually, which uses T-Mobile.
Yeah, it's Dish, which is using T-Mobile.
Yeah, so Boost Mobile is owned by Dish after the merger, but because of their agreement, as part of the merger agreement, Dish gets to rely on T-Mobile's network over the coming 7 years as they work on deploying their own. So effectively, you're getting T-Mobile coverage. So if T-Mobile coverage is bad in your area, then Boost is probably not going to be a good experience. You really just got to kind of test the waters. Since it is prepaid, there's no harm in trying it out. You know, maybe before porting your number and going all in, maybe just get like a basic SIM, test it out, see if it works. If it does, go hog wild. If not, try US Mobile. It's a good alternative.
Yeah. Eduardo, absolutely welcome. Yeah, I really hope that helps out. US Mobile is one of my top picks. My grandparents are actually on US Mobile, and I kind of go into their account and manage their plans. Just to make sure they're getting what they need at an affordable price. They're on the $15 3 gig plans.
If it's for multiple people though, I'm just gonna throw out a curveball.
Yeah.
If you have Xfinity Mobile, or excuse me, if you have Xfinity or Spectrum available, they have a $15 plan. It's limited talk, text, and 1 gig of data, but 1 gig of data included. But that price is that's like a shared price. They don't have like a line access fee. And that would be cheaper if it's any more than one person. And that actually might be a little bit better. Even if your parents aren't going to be using data in the traditional sense, having a little bit's important because I know stuff like iMessage, right? You need a data connection for that to work properly.
iMessage, MMS, picture messaging, those kinds of things. Visual voicemail.
That actually might be the better play. And it's Verizon Network. And as we were talking about before, it's post-paid priority. That might be a good choice. And then also, oftentimes those companies do bundle deals where you get like an additional discount off their cable or whatever it is that your folks have. So that might be something to look at.
Yeah, it's just like that's a big if. Like Xfinity Mobile is like capital I, capital F because it's a great deal. You just need Xfinity Mobile. You need Xfinity.
You need Xfinity.
Yeah. We actually kind of talked about this, Tim. eSIM could fully replace SIM cards in our first episode. We talked about eSIM. The answer is yes, hopefully, but it's not there yet. There's so many logistical things like just switching devices is very challenging with eSIM because it's on the actual device, and carriers don't seem super keen on supporting it right now.
And even if it did magically take place in the U.S., there's still the international market to take into consideration. So I don't see SIM cards going away anytime soon, at least not for like the next decade.
Yeah. Mark, I love this question. What phone are you most excited about in 2021? I think I'm most excited about the new iPhone.
Same.
And the reason, first of all, super hyped about the S21. I like just getting the X60 modem in here and being able to put that through its paces. I'm excited about. But the iPhone has kind of been lagging behind in terms of other features, high refresh rate display, underneath the screen fingerprint reader, and all those things. So this year should be the year we get it. That's why I'm most excited for it.
Also, Sam, yeah, I'm excited because this should be the first year iPhone gets a high refresh rate, which is going to be a game changer. Also, like you said, the bringing back of a fingerprint reader would be huge because, as we saw, Face ID doesn't work too well when you got a mask on. So iPhone is the big one from Apple. And then also, just throwing it out there, since Samsung butchered the S lineup so badly, I'm looking forward to see what the Note lineup looks like this year.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Samsung kind of continues that lineup, what happens there. Yeah, I don't know.
And OnePlus.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm so frustrated with OnePlus because I think their phones are too stinking big. Like they just have one size, and they're just like, yep, this is phones. Phones are this size, and I'm like, this is huge. This is so uncomfortable to use.
Stetson,
Yeah.
I just thought about something important since we're talking about phones. I think last week you were telling me that LG was going to be pulling out of the phone market. You heard like the rumor.
Yeah.
There was actually a follow up about that. LG actually did a press announcement about it. Apparently, that was just some like leaked internal document. They weren't they're not talking about pulling out. It's just that there was rumors that there was like some companies possibly looking at buying it. They were just exploring options. But I wanted to rest assured that LG is actually, it looks like they're still going to be in it because it's not going to make sense for them just to pull out all of a sudden when they just released all these new products.
Yeah, it did seem weird.
And fun fact, when I was doing some research about LG, did you know that they were going negative on their phone business for 22 consecutive years? They took a loss as far as money.
Why does that not surprise me?
They're actually doing better though. They're actually talking about turning profitable this year.
Wow.
So it wouldn't make sense for them to pull out, but with that news and that leak happening, their stock actually jumped up in evaluation. Stockholders thought that LG would be more valuable if they sold off their phone business.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of comes back to, I guess I wasn't really talking to you. I was talking to my flatmate about this, but Intel, like, as a company, sometimes if you're able to really focus on one core product, you can make that product the best that it can be, and ultimately that leads to greater success. So if LG
you
were
become specialized.
Yeah, exactly.
I will just say, by the way, did you know that? Remember, I was telling you about how like LG does like the creative stuff. Did you know that LG actually outsourced a lot of their low end phones to different companies to make? They're not even designing them anymore.
Jeez, that seems so. That just doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth. Like they're just slapping an LG logo on a cheap phone.
Yeah. It's only their flagships that they're doing like in house. The rest of like their low end budget offerings, they're all done by like some Chinese company. Like they're not even doing anything with it, which is funny.
Jeez, all right, David, thank you so much for getting in on this. He's at guys, David is at, shout out to David. He's at a millimeter wave node right now, Brandon, Florida, US mobile iPhone 12, not connecting. We have a sad face emoji after that, postpaid Verizon line pulling down 3 gigabits per second.
Woo-wee!
That's fire.
That is awesome. What's the upload? Can you talk what the upload is while we're waiting for a response?
Yeah, David, wow, that's unbelievable. I've never seen speeds. I've peaked at 2, like literally at 2. It hit 2 gigabits per second. I was like, nope, done, and it boom, dipped down. So yeah.
He's got 250 on the upload.
All right, where did you say this was? Florida. All right, on the map.
David, I'm buying a plane ticket down there, man. I'm gonna couch surf with you for a little bit.
Dennis is all about it. Dennis, you don't even have a Verizon line. What are you doing?
Listen, man. If I got that kind of speeds, I would buy a Verizon line, turn it into a hotspot, and that would be my primary internet connection.
Jeez, yeah. You want to touch on the M1 Max at all? I don't know if that's your forte. Maybe we can light discussion.
We've done it before, but before we touch on that, because that's going to be more in depth, I want to answer Tim's question real fast because it's going to be an easy one. So he asked us, do you think we could do a review on any gaming phones by any chance? So I think he's talking about like Asus's ROG gaming phones or stuff like that.
Yeah. So Tim, I would love to review phones, but the truth is that topic on YouTube is so crowded and congested that I feel like my video, I'm not really an authoritative figure in that space, and I feel like other people are doing a better job than I would, kind of covering that. It's my kind of answer there.
And just to expand upon some things from behind the scenes, me and Stetson actually had a discussion about this before. Not necessarily with the gaming phones per se, just phone reviews in general. And one of the things that I brought to Stetson's attention was like how much money it would cost to produce such a video. And I just said, look, let's take a realistic look here. What are we making per episode? It wouldn't cover the cost. And also, as Stetson alerted to, there's tons of channels in that space who are getting their phones for free, like MKBHD, John Redinger from Techno Buffalo, and all kinds of other channels that are already doing different phone reviews, that we would kind of get saturated if we were to do phone reviews. One of the things that, do you care if I share the idea, Stetson?
Yeah, go for it.
So one of the things that me and Stetson said we would want to do if we got into phone reviews is comparing like the flagship phone to a couple generations ago, because oftentimes people aren't doing that. They always compare it to last year's flagship, but they never do stack ups like,
I think
like
iPhone,
Galaxy S9 versus A51. Like, does the mid-ranger of this year, is it better? Or Galaxy S9 versus S21, right? Is it worth it? Like, they don't typically do stuff like that. So if we did get into phone reviews, that would kind of be our space. It's just right now in the current size of our channel and the amount of income that me and Stetson can put, or I should say Stetson could put into the channel, isn't going to afford that yet. But hopefully one day.
grow. That's the dream. Just grow and make it happen. David coming in clutch with CBRS. Check this out. LTE band 48, 450 down. Whew, that's a good market.
Wow, CBRS is already live for Verizon?
I guess that's what looks like David said. Oh, here we go. Eduardo, who are your favorite phone reviewers? I'm a big fan of Marquez Brownlee. He's kind of one of my inspirations personally. And it was kind of weird and surreal, honestly, like watching him grow up, like go through college, and then I basically did the same thing, just like a couple years later, like went through college, made YouTube videos, graduated, like started doing YouTube. So kind of surreal. And what's fun is looking back at Marquez Brownlee's videos and comparing him at my age, like what was he doing at 22 versus what I was doing at 22, or like what was he doing sophomore year of college versus what I was doing at sophomore year of college. And it was kind of cool just to see that comparison. But yeah, he's a big inspiration of mine. I'm trying to think who else I really like.
Who's the Boss?
Who's the Boss? I think Mr. Who's the Boss is doing a phenomenal job with viewer retention, engagement, making his videos interesting. And honestly, Mr. Mobile. I think Mr. Mobile's got rock solid like ethics policy in terms of like how he approaches reviews. And he does a really good job kind of telling a story, turning a review into a story. But yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, the three that you mentioned are my big ones. I love MKBHD hands down. Every video he makes is like cinematographic gold. I can't speak.
Yeah.
I literally just love looking at all the cute, like cool shots he lines up. Like they're beautiful. Love him. I like Your Average Consumer as well, because he'll sometimes do like some of the more realistic, like niche, like or not so niche talking points.
Yeah.
And also Linus. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of Linus. I think he's really great at I think kind of pulling to light issues a lot of people kind of gloss over, even if he's just a stickler about them. But you know, it's his review. You got to respect that. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Everything Apple Pro, not necessarily for phone reviews, but he has some wicked good comparisons. One of my favorite videos of all time from his is when he compared iPhones running the software they were released with versus each other. And it turns out like an iPhone 5 running, I think it was iOS 5 at the time or something like that. Like the phone running the software it launched with was as fast, if not faster, than some of the newer devices. And that was amazing.
Yeah, but I will just say that I love those tests. But for anybody out there that like, I don't want people to think there's like a conspiracy that like updates are intentionally making your phone obsolete. Reason why phones get slower with time, just getting that out there, is because they just age. Like the battery gets weaker, right? And so it can't keep up with its top performance. Typically with software updates, there's other features that are getting ran on that hardware, which is why you're seeing that trade-off. And also, even if there was no features added, tons of security patches that get put in place, right? Like even on Windows, for example, I'm sure you remember Spectre for like Intel chipsets and those different things.
Yeah, that was huge.
Windows pushed out updates, and Intel chipsets from like certain generations below actually saw a significant performance decrease, but it had to happen. It was a major vulnerability. I'm just saying that out there because iOS 14.4 just came out, and I know there was 2 day one
I think 3 actually.
Three critical bugs, and I know there's people out there that avoid updating because they're afraid of that, but I swear to God, guys, like you should just update your phones. There's a reason why companies do that.
iPhones especially are usually really great at that. And shout out to Mark. Mark, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate you supporting us and our efforts here.
But
we've actually been going for almost a second hour, so. Yeah.
I want to do just a couple more quick questions, then we can call it if you want.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Because I feel like we owe it to these guys. They've been so great. So Tim asks if we could maybe do a budget phone review instead. Then
Tim, like I said, I love the idea. It's logistics. So I'll be honest with you guys. I've been thinking about this, and I, as Stetson, do not have enough time to make cell phone plan reviews and phone reviews. Okay, like the knowledge and expertise to really present the information that I feel like you need to make an educated and informed decision, I can only do in one category. And so I would love to aspirationally like find someone else to bring onto the channel to focus specifically on phone reviews. And it's about making that economically viable, because that's the other thing is like I need to make this a successful business too.
Yeah.
So.
And to Stetson's point, because I'm sure the first thing that comes in your guys' head is, well, why don't you just have Dennis do it? I'm not nearly like I have my own areas of expertise.
Yeah, Dennis's skills and strengths are almost in like a different realm.
Yeah. Stetson's the awesome content creator. He's the director. He's great at that kind of thing. I can give ideas. I can write. I can communicate for the podcast. Heck, I could even probably write up a review. But as far as getting those incredible B-roll shots, making sure the audio is on point, that's Stetson's realm. And at the end of the day, he's the one who would have to do all the editing and uploading. And God forbid you guys saw me try to edit. It would look like something from Windows Movie Maker from 2006. But Shame, you highlighted something from Shame. Go ahead and read it off.
So yeah, shout out to Shame. I saw in the chat, Shame, you upgraded from an A51 to an S21. So that's a huge jump. That's awesome. Yeah, difference between LT and Verizon, it's huge. I mean, if you're on Verizon, Shame's getting 376 down, 43.5 up, and 130 down, 44.1 up on 5G. So 5G, it's not good on Verizon. That's the short of that. What's the quote from Sneed? We had a quote all the time. We need like a quote button. Skinny channels are skinny channels. You can't fix that.
Yes. Oh man, and we really need to get Sneed back on at some point. We gotta.
Yeah.
I need to talk to him about his T-Mobile internet experience.
Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate the compliment for doing the plan reviews. I try my best with those. That's really what I've been focusing on and trying to add value to the market with that. That's kind of what we're here with the podcast, trying to talk to cool people in the industry and explore that more, and also just have fun, casual conversations.
Well, as one last hoorah, because I know Stetson, you're probably getting tired, and I should probably do schoolwork. I want to just say thank you guys so much for continuing to come and enjoy the show with us. It was great getting to interact with you all today. Hopefully you enjoyed the hangout session. If you do appreciate the content, once again, please feel free to join the Patreon. You have no idea how much your support helps. Even just $1, goes a long way in making everything possible, for paying for all the plans that Stetson has to buy for the reviews, buying the fancy mic so you could hear the good audio, and so forth. And also, you guys will get some awesome content. Like he said, ad-free Patreon ad-free podcast listening for when they're posted. Some behind-the-scenes content, which he did one that was pretty awesome whenever he did his T-Mobile reviews video, and much, much more is planned. And as we've talked about in previous shows, once we reach some certain goals, we're going to have some really special things planned for you guys, like getting to see us pie in the face if we get 5,000 current viewers.
That would be
all
insane.
kinds of other stuff.
Yeah. So, I think that's a great way to end the show. Thank you all so much for joining us. And, we look forward to hanging out with you all next week. So take care, everybody.
Peace.